"Let my dad go and I'll make you walk," the court laughed. Until they saw the judge get up alone. The courtroom was heavy with tension that morning. The air felt thick, every cough and shuffle echoing through the grand hall. 12-year-old Emily sat on the wooden bench, her legs swinging nervously as she stared at the man in the suit across the room, the judge who held her father's future in his hands. Her dad, John Miller, sat beside his lawyer, looking worn and exhausted, a shadow of the man she remembered before life had beaten him down. John wasn't a criminal. He wasn't a bad man. But a tragic accident had changed everything. Months ago, while rushing to get Emily to the hospital during one of her severe asthma attacks, he'd run a red light, unintentionally causing a minor crash. No one had been seriously hurt, but the other driver, a wealthy businessman, had used his influence to press harsh charges. Now John faced jail time, leaving Emily with no one to care for her. Emily clutched the small notebook on her lap, the one where she wrote everything she wished she had the courage to say out loud. As the proceedings dragged on, the judge remained unmoved by the pleas of her father's attorney. Emily could feel hope slipping through her small fingers. Finally, when the judge announced he was about to pass sentence, Emily's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. She stood, her voice trembling but loud enough to echo through the courtroom. "Your Honor, please," she said, tears welling in her big brown eyes. "Let my dad go, and I'll make you walk." The room went silent for a moment, then a ripple of laughter spread through the courtroom. The judge, a stern man bound to a wheelchair after a car accident years ago, raised an eyebrow, amused yet slightly offended. "Young lady," he said with a hint of condescension, "that's not how the law works. Please sit down." But Emily didn't move. She stepped forward, clutching her notebook like a shield. "No, sir. I mean it. I've been learning something my mom taught me before she passed away. She said kindness can heal even the deepest wounds. I know how to help people walk again. My mom was a physical therapist. She taught me exercises. If you let my dad go, I promise I'll help you." The courtroom erupted again in soft chuckles, adults shaking their heads at a child's impossible promise. But something in Emily's determined gaze silenced the judge. It wasn't arrogance, it was pure, desperate love for her father. "Come here, young lady," the judge said, curious now. Emily walked toward him, wiping her tears. She opened her notebook and showed pages filled with carefully drawn exercises, diagrams, and notes her late mother had once scribbled. "I've been practicing with people at the hospital," she whispered, voice trembling. "I know I'm just a kid, but if you give my dad another chance, I promise you won't regret it." The judge stared at the little girl for a long time, his hardened expression softening. "Your father broke the law," he said quietly. "But I see now why he did it. And I see the heart of his child, willing to give everything to save him." After a long pause, the judge made a surprising decision: John would not serve jail time. Instead, he would do community service, helping others just as he'd once rushed to help his daughter. The courtroom murmured in shock, but Emily didn't care. She ran to her father and hugged him as if she'd never let go. But the story didn't end there. True to her word, Emily began visiting the judge weekly. At first, it was awkward, this small, determined girl showing a man twice her size how to move his legs, how to fight the pain, how to believe again. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, the impossible began to happen. The judge took his first shaky steps one morning, tears streaming down his face as Emily clapped and whispered, "I told you kindness heals." The next time John and Emily entered that courtroom, it wasn't for a trial. It was to watch the judge stand tall, walking slowly but surely toward them. The entire room was silent, witnessing not just a miracle of movement, but a miracle of love and compassion. The man who once held Emily's father's fate now knelt before her, saying, "You didn't just make me walk, you taught me how to live again." And from that day on, the courtroom was never the same. People remembered not the case, but the little girl who believed in kindness when the world laughed, and proved that love has the power to rewrite destinies. Emily learned that day that sometimes the bravest act is simply to speak up for love, even when no one believes you. And everyone who witnessed that moment left with one unforgettable truth: a child's compassion can heal even the deepest wounds, and sometimes, miracles happen because someone dares to try.